Hi folks, hope you're doing well. It's nearly 20 past 2 p.m. on the 9th of the 4th, 2020. First thing I want to say is talk about this wonderful woman, um, Jacinda Ardern, the New Zealand PM. I mean, incredible one. I've seen a few interviews that she's done. She allows her personality to come out and show. You can just imagine her to be a fantastic mother, because the way she talks to people is very similar to the way a loving mother would talk to a child. She did this thing a few days ago, um, saying the Easter Bunny and Tooth Fairy are essential workers, but sorry kids, unfortunately at this time they're going to be incredibly busy and they might not get to everyone. Also due to their having to abide by the social distancing rules. Now, of course, how many world leaders would come out and, in a press conference, give a message like that to children? I mean, that is absolutely fantastic. It's at the same time that Donald Trump is vowing to take a look at the conviction of Joe Exotic, because Joe Exotic, who was accused and convicted of taking a hit or paying for a hit on a woman, he has now become more popular because of the TV program that was done on Netflix on Tiger King, and because people have now taken Joe Exotic's side, the US president, the president of the most powerful nation on the planet, is going to take some of his most precious time to look at this man's conviction. Now, sorry folks, I don't think Jacinda Ardern would give 2 seconds of her time on that situation at all. I mean, Donald Trump has departments beneath him, and it's their job to look at these things. He wants a bit of a public thumbs up at this time. He's using Joe Exotic in this way. Again, that's typical politician who is bended by the public. Wants likes and all that crap, and it's like, oh, yeah. A typical politician, generally speaking, would never smile, would never have this massive smile on their face. It just isn't in them. I mean, so, okay, for example, in the UK, they've had a few leadership campaigns recently. One for the Conservatives when Theresa May stepped down. And Theresa May, a woman who you never really saw smile, certainly not much older than Jacinda. Not that much older, but looked ancient compared to. Really ancient, because again, she had this dark look on her face. I'm not sure if she's ever actually cracked a proper smile in her life. I mean, at a news conference, she tried to dance as she came in, and you could see she's never danced in her life. And even the women who were then competing to replace her, again, personalities were adrift. There just wasn't a personality there at all with them, because they were politicians. They were trying to be so much like men. That was their desire. We're a politician, we want to be competing with men, so therefore we have to be men, but with vaginas. And this Jacinda has said, no, I'm a woman. I don't know if she's a mother. I imagine she probably is. I don't know in any way, shape, or form. I imagine she has children, but don't know. Looking at her nature, that's why I imagine she probably had children, but as I say, I don't rightly know if she does or not. She seems to be a wonderful human being. And from that point, that's a good point to sign off on this particular topic, because most politicians don't seem to be wonderful human beings. But this one does. And I wish her well, and God bless you, young woman. And Jacinda Ardern, God bless you. Keep well, stay safe during this situation. I'm saying this to Jacinda Ardern, not to you, because I'm not finished this little video yet. So, yeah. Okay, on her wiki page, I've not found anything to say whether she's even married. Don't know. I don't know. I hope she is. I hope she's with someone who loves her dearly. And yeah, she's a gorgeous woman. Certainly, that definitely comes across with her. So, it was a blessing seeing her do that, and I will link the video of her doing that to this one. It's lovely to see, really lovely. So there you go. That's that situation. Yeah, beautiful one, gorgeous. Okay, for the second subject. Right. I may be the only human in my situation. 5 dogs and me. So I may be alone, but I'm not lonely. That's a certainty. I'm not lonely. I'm not someone who, would want to be with someone for the sake of being with someone. Been there, done it. Not interested. If I wasn't a Christian, I would do what most people do. I'd go on sites like Plenty of Fish, find someone, just put up with it. I just settle for someone. Even when I was younger, it was always understood someone is better than no one. And the problem is that still seems to be the understanding of some people. No, God, no. Yeah, you're far better off. I mean, certainly in this situation of the loner, you're far better off being alone, being fairly content on being alone, than being with the wrong flipping person. Yeah, because now I may be in a situation where occasionally, a few times a day, I may desire human content. So to speak to an actual human being. Well, it's simple. There's a lot of people that I can phone up and speak to. Not the same as face to face, but to be honest, we are in a situation where we're on lockdown. So, you can't exactly go and meet people. So on the phone, in many ways, is better because then you can end the conversation a lot easier than you can if you meet someone face to face. So, it's a far better situation than being with the wrong person and then being desperate to get away from them in a situation where you're on a lockdown. That's not good. Trying to break up with someone when you're on a lockdown and you can't really do much is really, really a difficult situation to be in. So it's far easier just being on your own. I've got 5 wonderful dogs that I love dearly. They've all got their own different personalities. So, I have a lot to keep me busy and a lot to keep me entertained as well with them. So, people try and jab you with that point of saying, oh, this is why you're alone or lonely. It's like, no, I'm not. I mean, obviously, if I could then be with someone, whoever that person is, that God has said, right, this is the person I want you to be with. You are designed for them, they are designed for you. Well, then that's a different matter. You jump at that. But why would you jump at anything other than that? Why would you entertain the thought of anything other than that? Anything other than that is going to be problematic. First of all, if I find someone to be with, and it's me finding them, I've got to find someone that's happy to be with dogs. that's the first point. Finding someone who's allergic to dogs is just not going to work, is it? So they've got to be okay with dogs. They've got to be okay with this many dogs. But then I've got to find someone who is a Christian. I've got to find someone who is more of a radical Christian. Not a churchgoer. And again, finding them is very hard. You go to churches, you'll find mostly churchgoers. You won't find an awful lot of radicals, and they just won't stand out too much, not unless you've been in there for a while. That's when they stand out, when you've noticed them a bit. And again, you don't know whether they're single, whether they're married. I mean, for goodness sake. If they're that good, they're probably going to be married. Certainly if it's a case where if they're looking to find someone themselves, not looking to God to find someone, they're probably going to be married already. So, no. I'm not going to look. There's no point. Looking is dysfunctional. I pretty much accepted a long time ago that it's quite possible that I would be not married. I married before and it didn't work, so it's quite possible I wouldn't marry again. If that happens, then that happens. There's going to be plenty to keep me busy and plenty to keep me focused and occupied. So that's good. The rest, more than that, we don't care about. It doesn't matter. It's what it is, In life, we all have challenges. We all have things that aren't exactly perfect. And it's about learning to make the most of those. And certainly I'm in a situation with this property I'm in, which is rather oppressive. To learn to just be okay and happy where I am. That's a challenge for me already. So I'd rather not put a challenge of the wrong person moving in with me added to that somehow, or me moving out of here, moving out of the frying pan into the blinking fire. No thanks. No, so it's a case of do things God's way, and it's very much a case of not wanting to push anything or force anything, because if I'm not ready, there's still stuff in me that has to be dealt with. I don't want to get into a relationship with someone and take baggage into it. Any crap that's in me needs to be dealt with. It's not fair for a person that I get with me to bring any baggage to that situation. Because why should they have to put up with that? Why should they have to deal with that crap? Any attitude problems I may have, why should they have to deal with that? All of that needs to be dealt with before I get into a relationship with them. Now, if that's going to take a month, 6 months, a year, 6 years, then there you go. That's all it takes. And that's fine. It takes as long as it takes. And let's say if I'm supposed to, be on my own in that sense, relationship-wise, be single, then that's fine. I can be single, That's okay. I've got a lot to deal with, as in me. So, that's going to take up a lot of attention. As I say, certainly a case, if you're with someone, you really need to be focusing upon them. So the issues with you need to be dealt with before you get with somebody, really. Because you're not really going to have a lot of time to deal with your issues when you're with somebody. And so, for me, no, that stuff needs to be dealt with. And regard it can take however long it has to take. I suppose it's more the point that the way God sees it, that with us, it can take however long it needs to take, because He's got to get our attention. Quite often we don't want to deal with stuff because we have stuff that can be incredibly deep. But I'll say with me, there's been issues of rejection when I was a kid, and the spirit of rejection upon me before I was even born. Now, if that is still an issue, then that's going to be incredibly deep. And digging that out could be tough. Like I said years ago, I think I did a video on it about the shake me, break me, make me situation. Shaking is like, if you have a garden, and the perfect garden would be any of these out near where I am here, because by all accounts, years ago, these gardens were used as like a tool place for a mechanic who was fixing cars. I think he probably brought his own cars in here, and there's bits of car buried all over these gardens here. So the shake me bit is basically unearthing the garden completely, digging up, getting one of those is it a rotavator, the thing to dig up the earth and shake it and bring all the crap to the top. But that's what the shaking is about. And then the breaking is digging deep, getting all those bits out. And if you've got ivy on a tree, the ivy will eventually kill the tree. Well, of course, you're going to strip the ivy off the tree. Now, if the tree had feelings, that's going to be pretty painful to the tree when you strip the ivy off. And that's the reality with God dealing with your issues. He's doing something similar to that, not stripping ivy off a tree. And of course, it's going to tinge a tad, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. So it's something that quite often we shy away from. But we've got to be in a position where we say, okay, this needs to be dealt with. This isn't good. This is a situation that if I get this sorted out, then I could have something far, far better in my life. So, let God deal with this stuff. I'll say we've got a few months where, with every single Christian listening, or every single Christian in the country, if you take advantage of this time, of this lockdown situation, you could come out of it a far better, stronger individual with a lot of your issues and baggage dealt with. But as with all of us, it's up to you how you want to use this time. Be careful with regards to this virus situation. But there is some good news. People are starting to, we know in China they're starting to relax the situation at the moment. In America, they're starting to relax the situation in small areas, to try and build the economy back up a tiny bit. I think it's a bit early in America because, certainly as a country, they've not really been on lockdown for very long. Certain areas have. New York has. California has been on lockdown for a while already. But there are parts of the country that haven't really been on lockdown at all. So that's a tricky one for the country as a whole. And the UK, there was a professor talking about the fact that we could start relaxing things as early as the 27th of April, which is possible. Is it a certainty? We don't know, but apparently the rate of new infections is starting to level out. So once that starts to level out, then that will start to go down, and the rate of deaths will about 5 days later start to level out and go down. So once those things start to happen, they both start to go down. You can then start looking at a strategy now to come out of this. So, it's things that people are starting to look at now. Whether it's too early to actually implement the strategy is a different matter. But at least they're starting to look at strategies now to come out of it. So that's good. It's all positive when it comes down to it. Yeah, be lovely. Be lovely to those who need you to be lovely to them. You take care. God bless. I will speak to you soon. Bye bye.